A healthy life starts with great sleep. Wake refreshed with Avocado's GOTS-certified organic green mattress, delivering breathable, back-loving support, natural materials from Avocado's own sustainable wool and latex farms, easy financing, a 1-year sleep trial, and deep, restorative slumbers. Organic sleep awaits at avocadomattress.com.
Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Right now, get a free select tool when you buy the Craftsman V20 2-pack battery kit. Whether it's the backyard, the bathroom, or beyond, Craftsman has the tools to help you power through and get the project done right. Because DIYing is unpredictable, but your tools shouldn't be. Shop Craftsman at Lowe's today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Remain say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney prior to or during any question. If you can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. Do you understand your rights?
That's your quote. You're running so that's for sure. Knows all about you.
Warning, this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, may contain descriptions of acts of violence or that of a sexual nature and should be for people that are 18 years or older. Heed my warning, people. I do not get the facts of these cases off of the internet or from some television show. The facts I'm retelling you were presented to me by the victims of the crimes or the perpetrators who committed the crimes against the victims. My descriptions of the crime scenes, what I saw with my own two eyes. If you're going to get offended, please turn this podcast off now. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. And as always, I'm your host, Woody Overton. And today, we are finally concluding the State versus Scott Peterson Scorched. And is by far the longest series I've ever done. Didn't know it was going to go this long, but I think this Sin said this is the 40th episode, and I can promise you it is done today. Now, Scorched being the premise, y'all, where this case is jacked up or messed up, and I covered it from episode 1 all the way to today on what both the prosecution, I think, in my professional and personal opinion, what the prosecution and the cops screwed up investigation wise, and how I think the defense team effed up throughout the trial, and especially as you heard in the last several weeks, the death penalty phase where they kept just repeating all this stuff about Scott and how great he was, and trying to race in the mind of the jury the fact that they just sat through 3 months of their lives and saw how Laci and baby Connor were murdered. But today we're going to conclude it, and I'm going to give you a little bit of what happened afterwards. It's all documented. You can check it out if you want to. I'm going to thank y'all for listening to it every week. The numbers continue to grow on it. I understand, I guess, the fascination with the case, but this many years, and I was on the phone for a 2-hour phone call today with a cold case file producer, and she actually had one time lived in Modesto. And then when I told her about this series, she said that she had went to death row in California to interview somebody else, and Scott Peterson was actually in the dog yard. That's what they call it. They let him out their cell for 1 hour a day to exercise, and it's a little bit cage that they put him in so they can't have any contact with anybody else. He was on the protective side, the chomo side, whatever you want to call it. But she said, you know what? He was actually kind of hot. I guess he was out there just working out, and he was smiling at him and all that. But she said, you certainly don't think he's innocent. I said, absolutely not. I don't think he's innocent. I think he's guilty as hell, but I think this case has all kinds of problems. And like I told her, like I've been telling y'all the whole time, they better pray to God that piece of tape that the judge is allowing to be DNA tested now that came off of Laci has Scott Peterson's DNA on it or no one's, and not some other person, right? Because if they do, he's getting a new trial. And if they try him on the same way that they tried him before, I don't think you can find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So we're going to get down to it, and I'm going to skip a huge part of it. So both sides arrested totally in the death penalty phase, and this is where the judge comes in and gives the jury clear instructions on what the law are. They call it, in Louisiana, they call it charging the jury. And usually it's long as AF. They sit there and they read you the definition of the law. Like in this case, it would be what mitigating circumstances are, what makes it eligible for the death penalty. And, you have to find this true to be fact if you're going to sentence them to death. And it's just a lot. Okay. So we're not going to do all that. We're just going to get to the very last part where he sends them to the jury, and I'll read it for you. And starting with the judge. Judge. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. We reconvene you here now because we have to tend to some business here. As you are aware, we had to substitute a juror. So I have to re-instruct you on a few things. First of all, members of the jury, a juror has been replaced by an alternate. We're going to do that in just a second. Let's do that now. Call the alternate and seat the alternate juror. Marilyn. Clerk. I beg your pardon? Judge. We want to seat the alternate juror. Call the alternate juror. Garagos. Alternate number 2. Clerk. Alternate number 2. Judge. You're going to be seated right there. You're going to be number 7. Okay. In picking up where we left off, a juror has been replaced by an alternate juror. You must not consider this fact for any purpose. The people and the defendant have the right to a verdict reached only after full participation of the 12 jurors who returned the verdict. This right may be assured only if you begin your deliberations again from the beginning. You must, therefore, set aside and disregard all past deliberations and begin deliberating anew. This means that each remaining original juror must set aside and disregard the earlier deliberations as if they had not taken place. You shall now retire and begin anew your deliberations in accordance with all the instructions previously given. One other thing, remind you again, you must decide all questions of fact in this case from the evidence received in this trial and not from any other source. Okay? Remember that. So we're going to send you back to start all over again. Okay? And keep in touch. Okay? All right, y'all. That obviously, I didn't read you the part about them charging the original stuff. It's mitigating circumstances, whatever. It's long and distinguished list. And then they had juror misconduct, or juror was removed. That's going to be another Scorched thing. And ultimately why they would, I'll tell you what happened. But that juror was removed. So he has to bring him back out, put in juror number 7 again, or replace juror number 7. And they did that. And, you can't, whatever the fuck y'all were talking about in there, you got to start all over fresh, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? That's kind of Scorched. And ultimately, it is what it is. That's all the reason we're still talking about this case 20 plus years later. All right, y'all. So they send the jury out, right? All the media goes and sits outside, and the lawyers are gonna, go wait and blah, 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 whatever. It's really a high profile time, a really, really dramatic time, if you will, because you're waiting basically to see if they're going to come back and put Scott Peterson or sentence Scott Peterson to death. So jury is out. Everybody's on pins and needles. All the people are stacked up outside the courtroom and they're waiting. So it goes on. And now we went from Thursday, December the 9th. Then they're still deliberating on Friday, December the 10th. And this is in 2004. And finally on Monday, the 13th of December, 2004, here it comes. They call everybody back in, and the lawyers get back in, and the judge gets back in. Before they call the jury back in, the judge starts with this. It's Judge Deliberation. This is the case of People versus Scott Peterson. Let the record show that these proceedings are taking place out of the presence of the jury. The defendant is present with counsel. As everybody in this courtroom is aware now, the jury has returned a verdict. When we excused you this morning, about 11:30, we asked the media to leave the courtroom because the jury usually eats their lunch in here. And about 5 minutes after the media left, I got a note from the jury that they had indeed arrived at a verdict. They wanted the jury verdicts, so we sent in the jury verdicts. We continued the case until 1:30 in order to receive this verdict. Now, I know everybody is in a hurry out there to get this on the wire, whatever you got to do. But once the verdict is read, it's not over, because I still have to charge the jury and give them some instructions, compliment the jury, and so forth. So I don't want anybody to get up and try to leave, because if you do, you are going to be in trouble. You are going to wait here until I leave the bench, okay? Because this has to be done in an orderly fashion. So I'm going to bring the jury in. I'm going to get the verdict. We'll read the verdict, whatever it is, and then I have to give the post-verdict jury instructions and another couple of orders. Just so you will know, those jurors who want to talk to the media, they'll be taken to another building. I think you're all aware that's going to be, so you can go over there. And those jurors that want to talk to you will be available for you. The prosecution will remain in the courtroom, and Mr. Garagos and Mr. Harris will be in the courtroom next door if they're inclined to talk to anybody. So that's the way it's going to be. So I'm going to ask everybody respectfully to please remain seated until I leave the bench. Okay? All right. Bring the jury in. They pile them in, y'all. All right. This is the case of People versus Scott Peterson. Let the record show the defendant is present with counsel. The jury is in the jury box along with the alternates. Mr. Foreperson, has the jury arrived at a verdict with respect to the penalty phase in this case? Foreperson. We have, Your Honor. Judge Laci. Would you hand the verdict to Jean, please? Read the verdict. The clerk. People of the state of California versus Scott Peterson. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, fix the penalty at death. Dated December the 13th, 2004, person number 6. You can imagine what's going on in the courtroom, right? But here we go. Judge Laci. Number 6. Is that unanimous verdict of the jury with respect to the penalty phase? The foreperson. It is, Your Honor. Judge Laci. All right. Mr. Garagos, do you want the jury polled? Mark Garagos. Yes, please. Judge Laci. Would you poll the jury, please? The clerk. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please answer yes or no as I call your juror number as seated and ask the following question. Was the verdict as just read your true and individual verdict? Juror number 1, juror, yes. The clerk. Juror number 2, juror, yes. Clerk. Juror number 3, juror, yes. The clerk. Juror number 4, juror, yes. The clerk. Juror number 5, juror, yes. The clerk. Juror number 6, juror, yes. Clerk. Juror number 7, juror, yes. The clerk. Juror number 8, juror, yes. The clerk. Juror number 9, juror, yes. The clerk. Juror number 10, juror, yes. The clerk. Juror number 11, juror, yes. The clerk. Juror number 12, juror, yes. The clerk. Your Honor, the jury has been polled and the verdict is unanimously affirmed. Judge Laci. You may enter the verdicts or the verdict. Verdict has been entered. The clerk. It has. Now, these are Judge Laci's discharge instructions to the jury. Summer's just around the corner, and the folks at Mint Mobile have a hot take. Getting the summer bodies out and getting your savings bod is in. This spring and summer, we want skimpy wireless bills and fat wallets. And with premium wireless plans for just $15 a month, you can have both without breaking a sweat or the bank. I was paying way too much for wireless service and decided to give Mint Mobile a try. And I've been seriously impressed. The call quality is crystal clear, the data speeds are fast, and I'm saving hundreds of dollars. It's the easiest switch I ever made, and I didn't have to sacrifice a thing. Say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans, dropping monthly bills and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text, delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get your summer savings and shop premium wireless plans at mintmobile.com/RLRC. That's mintmobile.com/RLRC. Upfront payment of $45 for a 3-month, 5-gigabyte plan required. It's equivalent to $15 a month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees are extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Hot sleepers, listen up. This one's for you. You probably know Avocado Green mattresses for their certified organic mattresses, but did you know they also make unbelievably breathable natural bedding? From soft organic cotton sheets to light as air as silk and lofty down duvets. Their bedding is designed to naturally regulate temperature and to keep you cool and comfy and sleeping soundly all night. Hey, and let's be real. When you're swapping out jeans for shorts and turning up the AC, it's probably time to refresh your bed too, because we sleep better when we sleep cool. And nothing sleeps cooler than natural organic bedding. What I love about Avocado's bedding is how breathable and temperature regulating it is. Whether you're wrapped up in that organic cotton sheet or under their down or silk duvet inserts, you're staying cool, dry, and comfortable all night. No more waking up in a sweat. Plus the feel, the total luxury. These are the kind of sheets you look forward to climbing into. Their cotton is soft from night one and gets even better with every wash. And don't get me started on the down duvet. It's like sleeping under a perfectly cool cloud. And of course, everything is made with sustainability in mind, from GOTS certified organic cotton to responsible down standard certification. So you're not just investing in a better night's sleep. You're supporting ethical, eco-conscious practices, better for you and better for the planet. Head to avocadomattress.com today to save 10% on all bedding and 50% on clearance bedding. Avocado is the dream of being better. Standard in every case, y'all. Judge Laci. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, on behalf of myself and the other judges on this bench, sort of hoarse here today, I want to thank you very much for serving as trial jurors in this case. I know what a difficult job this has been. You've been here for a long time. You've heard a lot of evidence. You have heard the arguments of the attorneys, and you know how difficult the decision is we ask you to make in a case like this. We bring out the community. You come in here cold turkey. We run voir dire about you. We select you, and then we put you through this ordeal. You were very diligent. There was never nobody got sick. Everybody was here on time. And I just can't believe how well you performed. I know it's a hard decision for you to make. It's hard for me. It's hard for you. It's hard for the lawyers. It's hard for the families. But it's something that you saw, and this is the way you saw it, and this is the way it is, okay? Now, I have an admonition for you before you leave. Members and alternate members of the jury, you have now completed your service as jurors in this case. On behalf of the Superior Court, I want to thank you for your giving of your time and efforts to the administration of justice in this community. You have the absolute right to either discuss or not to discuss the jury deliberations or verdict with anyone. However, be advised that 1, following discharge of the jury, the defendant or his or her attorney or representative or the prosecutor or his or her representative may discuss the jury deliberations or verdict with any member of the jury, provided that the juror consents to the discussion and that the discussion occurs at a reasonable time and place. 2, any unreasonable contact with a juror by a defendant or his or her attorney, representative, or by the prosecutor or his or her representative without the juror's consent must immediately be reported to me, the trial judge. Any violation of what I have just told you will be considered a violation of a lawful court order and shall be subject to reasonable monetary sanctions. I have already sealed all the jury information, home address, your telephone number, all that has been sealed and will remain sealed pending the review of this case by the Supreme Court. There's one other thing I want to tell you about here. You are free to talk to the media if you are so inclined. And we have made arrangements if you want to. We'll take you, go to a place. Gene will make arrangements for you to talk to the media. Those of you that don't want to talk will be returned to the hotel so you can go about your business, okay? Now, as you know, this case has engendered a great deal of interest by the public and therefore the media. If you're interested in speaking with the media, please advise the bailiff. The bailiff will take you to a room where the media will be present and you may respond to questions. Now, we're going to give you a handout. If you chose to speak with the media, you need to be aware of the following. Penal Code Section 1152 states that within 90 days of discharge, jurors shall not request, accept, agree to accept, or discuss with any person receiving or accepting any payment or benefit in consideration for supplying any information concerning the trial. And that juror shall promptly report to the court any incidents within their knowledge involving an attempt by any person to improperly influence any member of the jury. Those include things like limousine rides to and from interviews, for example, gift baskets and food items and satchel shirts and transportation, including air and hotel accommodations and vacations. So for 90 days, you can't accept any monetary benefit as a result of your service as a juror. After 90 days, you can do whatever you want. Okay? Like I said, you can talk to the media today if you want to. You're not compelled to do so unless you want to. Okay? So I want to thank you all very much, and you are excused now. Thank you. Okay? When you leave then, I'll leave the bench. There you have it, folks. Done, over with, good, bad, or indifferent. A whole shit ton of Scorched. 40 episodes is a record probably in anybody's book, but it is really pretty interesting. But I will state again, had I been on the original jury and the state effed it up as bad as they did, and I'm talking about everything from the burger across the street to the things they didn't investigate, certain witnesses they didn't, just everything that I told you about, that and I'm the hardest motherfucker, right? I want blood if somebody kills their wife and an unborn kid. But beyond a reasonable doubt, I don't think so. Do I think he's innocent? Fuck no. I think he's guilty as hell. But do I think the state proved beyond a reasonable doubt? That's not beyond any shadow of all doubt. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. No, I don't. Because of, remember like the lieutenant from the prison who had the tape recording of the guy talking about Laci's murder when they were doing the burger across the street and shit. It never got investigated. And then they go back to investigate and they can't find the recording. Little things like that. A reporter saying, no, those dudes didn't burglarize that house that day because I was there that day. And remember the burglary got swapped from the day that Laci went missing to whatever. Again, I think Scott Peterson is guilty as hell. But I think there are a shit ton of things that the police got wrong. All right. And then the prosecution should have caught them before they went to trial. No doubt about it. Now, defense wise, oh my God, it might be, and McGaragos is still famous to this day. He's handling the Menendez brothers case, and his daughter is one of the attorneys for P. Diddy or whatever the hell his name is. Case that's going on. I mean, he's famous, right? And this is 20 something years ago when he handled this case. They fucked it up. I mean, I think the strategy of trying to make him the wholesome, pure, he never raised his voice in anger to anyone. He worked at orphanages and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, I just don't think, they got in some good licks. They really did. They got in some good licks, but overall, I think the strategy was pathetic and weak, but you cannot make chicken salad out of chicken shit. And Scott Peterson is chicken shit. And he got sentenced to death, right? Guess what? They overturned his death conviction and sentenced him to life. And that's why we're talking about it today. And then recently, as I'm sure I've told you many times, the LA Innocence Project picks up this case where they put the best people on it in the world. I have been asked to work for the Innocence Project on 2 separate occasions. Now, each district has like different areas of the United States have their own Innocence Project. And I've been asked on one out of Texas. I'm not going to say the name of the case because I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, to come in and advise and do whatever. But then I'm like, I got neck deep in the case, and it's a very, very famous case. And I'm like, holy fuck, I think this person is guilty. So I'm not taking it, right? And the other one was the same thing, but they had more valid reasons to get on board. I totally believe the LA Innocence Project got on board because it's Scott Peterson. And back then, for whatever reason, this was a hot case in the world. And to this day, he's still getting documentaries and everything done about him. So there you have it. I'm going to tell you a couple of things that have happened like immediately following the trial, just some of the media coverage and shit that went on. On December the 15th, Greta Van Susteren on the record, her show, very famous at the time, y'all, and she interviewed some of the jurors, jury foreman Steve Cardosi, and juror number 1, Greg Bartalis, and juror number 7, Rochelle Neese, and alternate juror Mike Church. And they appeared on her show on the record with Greta Van Susteren. I'm not going to read you the transcript. Of February 2005, the defense files a new motion for the trial. Mark Garagos filed the motion, but it did not become available to the public until March the 14th, so several weeks after. And they said the judge literally took the document and fanned a corner with his thumb for a second and said, in all seriousness, motion denied. He didn't even read it, right? He knew it was going to get appealed because it's a death penalty case. On the 1st of March, 2005, a lady named Ann Bird published a book. The name of the book is called Blood Brother, 33 Reasons My Brother Scott Peterson is Guilty. Now, guess what? It's supposed to be the one sister they didn't put on in the prosecution in the penalty phase, right? That said he was so innocent. But I'll tell you a little bit about it. So this is from the publisher. It says, the story no one else can tell for the first time. The sister of Scott Peterson comes forward with her account of his marriage and her brother's disturbing behavior and how she slowly realized that her brother was capable of murder. The most chilling inside look at Scott Peterson, from the first family member to open a public window on the Peterson family. Blood Brother includes dozens of headline-making revelations and contains previously unpublished photos, emails, and letters, including Scott's bizarre letters to Anne from prison. What happens if, after being given up for adoption in childhood, You reestablish contact with your biological family only to discover that your true brother is a killer. Ann Bird, the sister of Scott Peterson, knows firsthand. Filled with news-making revelations and intimate glimpses of Scott and Laci, the Peterson family, and the investigation that followed the murder, Blood Brother is a provocative account of how long dormant family ties dragged one woman into one of the most notorious crimes of our time, right? Well, you know, you want to go read Ann Bird's book, go read it. I'll read you one of the reviews from Publishers Weekly. And it says, true crime books go, this addition to Scott and Laci Peterson's library isn't particularly riveting, salacious, or revealing, which is strange considering Bird's unique perspective. Adopted as a child, Bird reunited with her birth mother, Jackie Peterson, Scott's mother, in late 1997. Bird takes every opportunity to stress that she grew very close to the Peterson family, but there's very little evidence of this apart from Bird's own assertions. The reader learns tidbits about Scott and Laci. Laci loved flowers, and Scott was a real charmer, the kind of guy who lights up a room. But such details hover on the surface. In fact, this book reveals more about the author's self-delusional behavior than the crime itself. Laci's abduction occurs early on, and for the rest of the book, Bird relates how, despite all evidence to the contrary, she refused to believe her brother could be guilty. Her denial is such that, after Scott's arrest, Bird writes letters to him in which she replaces the word jail with camp. Bird's frequent protests, one wonders if she isn't disingenuous at times. She professes her love for her birth mother, for example, yet paints her in an unflattering light. I was beginning to understand why Jackie was so critical of Laci. No one was good enough for her golden boy. With the help of a therapist, Bird finally accepts the evidence and devises her list of 33 reasons why her brother is guilty. The list, which takes up a mere 5 pages and offers such banal reasons such as Scott flirted with our babysitter, is just as superficial as the rest of the book. All right, so the Ann Bird's book and one of the reviews. Let's go to March the 9th, 2005. It's titled Evidence That Exonerates Scott. It said, the website Justice for Scott published a 3-page document included in the recent defense motion. According to the document, Stephen Todd, one of the burglars involved in the Medina burglary, had a conversation with an inmate of the California Rehabilitation Center regarding an encounter he had with Laci on December the 24th. The document says, quotations, Laci happened to walk up while Steve Todd was doing the burglary, and Todd made some kind of verbal threat to Laci, close quotations. The document is significant because if true, then Todd can prove Laci was alive on December the 24th after Scott left. That significantly changes the situation for Scott, as even Detectives Burkini and Grogan admitted that Scott was not the guilty person if Laci was still alive when he left that morning. All right. The document seems to be confirmed by Todd's first statement to Officer Hicks, who arrested him. And we're going to Monday, October 25th, 2004. This is from the trial, y'all. Defense witness number 14, Officer Michael Hicks. And the examination is by Garagos and the cross is by Brigitte Flagger. So MPD Tactical Control is involved in an investigation of the Medina burglary. On January 2nd, he had one of the suspects, Stephen Todd, in the backseat of the patrol car. And Todd told him he would tell him about the burglary, but he wasn't involved with the woman and the baby. The judge interrupted to instruct the jury that the testimony was not given for the truthfulness of what Todd said, but for the reasonableness of the investigation. And it continues. It says the full motion is not yet available on the court website. So SII does not know who supplied J4S with the document. I guess it's just for Scott. But with all the egregious violations of the gag order on the side of the prosecution, it is interesting to see something leaked out that favors Scott for a change. Well, whatever. All right, going to March 10th, 2005, Geragos subpoenas HarperCollins documents. And the New York Daily News.com reported that Geragos has subpoenaed documents HarperCollins pertaining to book deals with Amber Fry and Ann Bird. The article says Geragos' purpose is to prove a financial motive for Fry's testimony. No conviction, no book. Besides the document, a witness familiar with books was subpoenaed. Geragos also reportedly answered calls for information with, "I'll discuss it in court." So that was according to the New York Daily News, y'all. March 11th, 2005, Teamster takes credit for ousting fellow jurors. Let me read you this. So the Mod B, the newspaper, has an article on John Guinacio's opinions on the jury dynamics that saw 3 jurors ousted during the course of the trial. He says in quotations, Juror reveals secrets of trial. Guinacio, a parking garage supervisor and Teamster union member, claims to have had a hand in the dismissal of juror number 5, Justin Falconer. Guinacio told the Bee that Falconer was ousted because of a letter he sent to Judge DeLucci, advising DeLucci that Falconer was discussing the case with other jurors and that his girlfriend was giving him information about the trial. The second oust came during deliberations when Fran Gorman used the internet to do an independent research. Guinacio quietly slipped a copy of the judge's instructions in front of her, and then another juror thought they should tell DeLucci. The third oust came quickly after, as the replaced foreman announced to the other juror that he was implicating himself and the new foreman, Cardosi. All of the jurors were interviewed and DeLucci released Jackson. The Mod B also revealed that Jackson has vacated his house in Birmingham and is out of the country. Guinacio explained what happened with the boat incident during deliberations. When the juror who climbed inside and sat down and rocked the boat, he also wanted to see if he could toss something overboard. Guinacio said Scott dropped his chin almost to his chest. Another revelation is that Guinacio is the juror involved with the bartender who was brought into the judge's chambers. Guinacio told the Mod B that he was accused of talking about the trial, including telling others that jurors had secret notebooks, presumably to help write books later. He denied it, and the judge let him stay. All right, y'all, I'm just giving you all this fluff. Just bear with me. Going to March the 11th, Catherine Cryer's book is published. It's called A Deadly Game, The Untold Story of the Scott Peterson Investigation. So New York, February 7th, PR Newswire. Reagan Books, an imprint of HarperCollins Publishers, announced today that it will publish A Deadly Game, The Untold Story of the Scott Peterson Investigation by award-winning journalist, former judge, and legal analyst Kathleen Cryer with Cole Thompson, the host of Court TV's Kathleen Cryer Live. Cryer has covered the case since the disappearance of Laci Peterson in late December of 2002, drawing on exclusive interviews and extensive, never-before-seen material connected with the case. A Deadly Game offers a stunning account of the crime, its aftermath, and the investigation that led to Scott Peterson's convictions on the 2 counts of murder. Did you know there's an online cannabis company that ships federally legal THC right to your door? And they found a way to combine THC with carefully selected functional ingredients to target nearly every mood and health concern you can think of. I'm talking about Mood.com's incredible line of functional gummies. And you can get 20% off your first order at Mood.com with promo code RLRC. Forget one-size-fits-all supplements that only get you high. Mood's functional gummies are optimized to kick in as little as 15 minutes and take you to the mood that you're looking for. Whether that's Mind Magic gummies for deep work and creativity, PMS support to ease cramps and balance mood swings, or their sexual euphoria gummies to help you feel ready for action and turn every touch into a full body experience. Look, y'all, you know I have trouble sleeping. I take the Sleepy Time gummy. I take a quarter of one before I go to sleep, and I sleep hard all night long. Never even move, wake up feeling fresh as a daisy. So listen, you can find gummies to just get you high pretty much anywhere these days. But Mood's functional gummies combine premium federal legal THC with targeted botanicals to help you get into that perfect mood, usually in as little as 15 minutes. And everything ships discreetly right to your door. No dispensary lines, no awkward conversations, just better days and nights delivered to your doorstep. Best of all, not only is every Mood product backed by a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as I mentioned, listeners get 20% off their first order with code RLRC. So head to Mood.com, find the functional gummy that matches exactly what you're looking for, and let Mood help you discover your perfect mood. And don't forget to use promo code RLRC when you check out to save 20% on your first order.
A healthy life starts with great sleep. Wake refreshed with Avocado's GOTS certified organic green mattress, delivering breathable, back-loving support, natural materials from Avocado's own sustainable wool and latex farms, easy financing, a 1-year sleep trial, and deep, restorative slumbers. Organic sleep awaits at avocadomattress.com.
A Deadly Game is the definitive account of this complex and disturbing case, said Judith Reagan, president and publisher of Reagan Books. Catherine Cryer's reporting goes far deeper than all previous journalistic treatments, offering countless new revelations into both Scott Peterson and the investigation that brought him to justice. A Deadly Game is scheduled to go on sale on March 11, 2005. Interestingly, Cryer has no hesitation in claiming unprecedented access to the inner workings of the investigation and having access to the 40,000 plus pages of discovery, itself a gross violation of the gag order and contempt of court. Okay, sounds like it to me. Oh, y'all, I don't know how many more I'm going to read. March 3rd, 2005, Greta Van Susteren reveals the points in Garagos' motion supporting the new trial. Here we go. On a special, on the record of Greta and her panel reviewed the defense motion for a new trial. The same one y'all remember that Judge Laci fanned his hand with and denied. But according to the show, the points are: 1, error in the fleeing instruction given to the jury. DeLucci said Scott was fleeing, and the jury could infer something sinister from that or not. Error number 2, in removing 2 jurors, didn't meet legal standards. 2 jurors were the first juror 5, Justin Falconer, and second juror 5, who was the jury foreman. Error number 3, in meeting porn channel evidence, prosecution did not establish that Laci would have disapproved of such channels, and both computers in the home had adult content from the internet. Error number 4 is in the admitting of the dog evidence. Error number 5 is in allowing the juries to get into the boat and rocket, constituting an experiment by the jury. Also, complaint that the defense demo, which was done on the water, not on a trailer, was not allowed in. Error number 6, in admitting the Amber tapes is prejudicial and not probative. All right. So let's go to March 14th, 2005, the defense motion and the prosecution opposition. So the defense motion, y'all, is 122 pages released along with the prosecution's opposition. Now, I'm going to hit the major points. I am not reading 122 pages. I promise you this series ends today. But the one defense major points, and all this basically rehashes exactly what I told y'all. Defense number 1, the court has authority to order a new trial on the various grounds alleged in this motion. 2, defense has recently discovered new exculpatory evidence that the prosecution failed to provide to it. 3, the denial of the motion of the change of venue denied Mr. Peterson of a fair and impartial jury. A new trial should be ordered because of this. Number 4, the court erred by removing the first and second juror number 5 and by refusing to declare a mistrial when it became apparent that the jurors' deliberations were being influenced by matters outside the evidence adduced in the court. The errors mandate a new trial. 5, the jury conducted its own unauthorized experiment with the boat. In so doing, received evidence outside of court, which Mr. Peterson was not provided an opportunity to meet or explain, and which prejudiced his defense. A new trial should therefore be granted. Number 6, this court should rule that the evidence in this case was insufficient to support the jury's finding of guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Number 7, because no evidence supported an instruction on second-degree murder, non-premeditated murder, it was an error for the court to give it. Moreover, having instructed the jury on second-degree murder, the court should also have instructed on manslaughter. Number 8, the court erred by instructing the jury on flight. Number 9, the trial court erred by excluding demonstrative evidence, a videotape experiment showing the instability of the boat, which was offered by the defense. Number 10, the prosecution wiretap evidence was erroneously omitted. Number 11, the court erred by admitting tape recordings of Mr. Peterson's irrelevant statements to Amber Fry. Number 12, the court erred by admitting the dog evidence. Number 13, the court erroneously admitted evidence regarding Mr. Peterson's purchase of adult programming. Number 14, the court erred by denying Mr. Peterson to have his guilt or innocence determined by a jury that was not death qualified. Number 15, it just says conclusion. All right, y'all. This 2 more little paragraphs. Bear with me, okay? On March the 16th, 2005, the motion for retrial was denied and the sentencing and victim impact statements. Y'all, I'm going to end it with the greatest, but not the least of the greatest of Scorched. It's not Scorched. It's just what I call a little bit of justice. According to an AP report on March the 17th, Scott Peterson was transferred to San Quentin State Prison at 3:10 a.m., secured with leg irons and shackles around his wrist and waist. Peterson was led away in a white unmarked van. The prison is about 20 miles north of San Francisco. Classic book style. This is the point where the author says the end. But I'm afraid, y'all, that it's not the end. We're going to find out. And you'll have no more of the Scorched, the state versus Scott Peterson, until we find out what happens with this duct tape. And I just can't believe, out of everything that they challenged after 20 fucking years, that they're even allowing any DNA testing on this duct tape. And remember that it had been in the water for months. So I'm thinking there's nothing there. I don't know, but I'm hoping there's not. I think Scott Peterson got what he deserved? No, because what he got was the death penalty. What he ultimately is serving out as a life sentence. He got commuted, right? So I think he should be lined up for the gas chamber or whatever the fuck they use in California. He murdered Laci and his unborn kid, and everybody's looking for him. He's on the phone with his lover, acting like he's in Paris and all the bullshit, all the shit you heard. And, it is what it is. It's whether you're for the death penalty or not, the murder of your wife and unborn son just so you could be free and still look like the nice guy. Remember the Cold Case Files producer I told y'all saw him working out in San Quentin, and he's smiling at him and flexing and shit, and then she's like, oh my God, he's hot. That's still Scott Peterson doing Scott Peterson. And I personally, and I'm American, I have a right to give you my opinion. I think he's guilty as fuck. But I also think this case is Scorched. They should have handled it differently. And if they had, we wouldn't be talking about it. And you wouldn't have got blessed with these 40 episodes. So that's it. Officially done. And it's a long time, y'all. It's almost a year's worth. And then we had, of course, in there the weeks that, I guess when I was in the ICU for 9 nights, and then my daddy dying, and this 2 weeks I took to be with my mom and everything. So it got extended somewhat. So it's probably been a year, but it won't be any more. All right. And Next week, I'm going to drop a real life, real crime original story. Woody, old school cop. Drop on Saturday like it used to. But thank y'all for liking and listening and sharing. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all go check out our daily show, True Crime Time 4 that Cindy and I are doing. We hit number 91 in the world out of all news podcasts, not just true crime, out of everybody. Fox and CNN and all ABC, all the big shots. We made a list and we've been doing it 6 months. It's different and it's pretty much unscripted other than Leah Marie, our investigative producer. I have the stories that we're going to cover, and then we just kind of husband and wife back and forth. So pretty cool. Evidently you like it. We're charting, which is awesome. We're charting for news, and everything else is going to be a news reporter. But so y'all check that out. Also, we're going to be starting the new human trafficking series, and this lady that's coming in, I'm going to do the first episodes with. She's powerful, y'all. Lived it, survived it. Now is blessing others. And we're going to get her to get us more compelling stories from actual victims of what the years, how they got it involved in the sex trafficking and the abuse and everything that it entails. True crime. And why are we doing it? Because I believe in it. I mean, it's a huge thing now, and it's like slavery. It's just fucking wrong. And hopefully we can save one person from being trafficked. #Justice for Haley. Wow. Wait, you heard the episode I dropped yesterday with Miss Barbara telling you everything that's happened since we did the call to action where your lifer stepped up, how the district attorneys got involved and how they continue to be involved. And that case is so moving in the right direction. And there's only one logical outcome, and it's homicide, not suicide. We're going to get justice for Haley. We've already far exceeded the family's expectations because finally it's getting investigated the way it should have been. So shout out to the DA, but listen to the Friday episode. I will be doing more #Justice for cases. I already have the next one lined up. Jeez Louise. Every one of them's horrible. None of them are more important than the other. These families are suffering. Their people, their lives are destroyed, their people are missing, or the death has been classified as whatever, and it's not. I wouldn't take these cases on if I didn't believe in them, if I didn't believe we could get a positive result, and if I didn't believe there was an injustice in the case, right? So we've done it in the past, Cordy Coco, Mary Pocho, Haley, and we're going to continue to do it. So just stick with us. And we love podcasts and we love y'all. Go download the Real Life Real Crime Community app for free. If you want to be a subscriber and get commercial free early releases plus the bonus episodes, etc., go in there and look under convicts and see what different levels of subscription there are and all the bonuses that you get. And if you don't want to download the app, I get that too. Go to patreon.com, type in Real Life Real Crime, same thing. All right. Other than I go to the app first every day because I have so much social media. But just lots of stuff going on in LOPA, Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency. You know it's my jam. Sign up to be an organ donor, y'all. You know, you don't have to be a lifer from Louisiana to go to lopa.org. They're a nonprofit, awesome people. Go to LOPA. Take 2 minutes, fill out the questionnaire. You don't have to be from Louisiana. You could be a lifer from, Alabama. Click on it, fill out the questionnaire. They will get you taken care of. Be a hero, give the gift of life and sight and all the great stuff those people do. And I'm Woody Overton, your host of Real Life Real Crime, the podcast. And until next time or ever, don't let me catch you down on Murder Bayou. Peace.
That you can't afford one, and your rights.
That your running's over, that's for sure. It's all about you.
Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Right now, get a free select tool when you buy the Craftsman V20 2-pack battery kit. Whether it's the backyard, the bathroom, or beyond, Craftsman has the tools to help you power through and get the project done right. Because DIYing is unpredictable, but your tools shouldn't be. Shop Craftsman at Lowe's today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.